How are you all? Hope you are doing great. Beta, this video is for CA Inter Level November 22 attempt. This video will cover all the amendments of November 22 attempt in simple English language. So let us start. Beta, we are following module sequence. So in your chapter 2, that is supply, you must have studied section 7 subsection 1 clause A, which covers supply of goods or service or both for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. Considered a supply. This you already know, correct? Now there is one more clause added, which is section 7 subsection 1 clause AA, which talks about activities or transactions involving supply between any person other than individual and its members or constituents for consideration included in scope of supply. Beta, what is this? See, this you have already studied, okay? In your schedule 2, there is one line called supply of goods by unincorporated association to its own members amounts to supply and which constitutes supply of goods. Earlier, there was lots of issue between these clubs, AOP, BOI, which are unincorporated, and between their members. Example, let's say I am member of Club Mahindra, okay? I pay membership fees to them, correct? And they provide me service. Now beta, I wanted to have one premises of Club Mahindra for my brother's marriage. Now you tell me whether I will pay consideration. They will give me for free or what? No, they will charge. So if they are charging, you tell me whether it amounts to supply of service or not. It is. But you know what? What I was saying? That club and member are one and the same. So if club provides service to own members, how come it amounts to supply? So there was issue, and this issue beta was back there since service tax. So now they have added, earlier they had added in schedule 2, but now they have finally come up with the solution and they have added a clause that supply of goods or service by unincorporated AOP BOI to its own members amounts to supply. Okay, so now if Club Mahindra charges fees from me, correct, for renting out their premises, now that amounts to supply of service. Or beta, in our society also, we have clubs or association. Now, if association charges some amount from their own members, still it amounts to supply, which government declared finally through this amendment. Are you with me? Okay. See, section 7 subsection 1 clause AA, activities or transaction by unincorporated AOP BOI to its members treated as supply. Example, membership fee charged by club such as Club Mahindra amounts to supply of service chargeable to GST. A local club supplies snacks etc. to its own members during monthly meetings. Beta, generally all the members of the club meet, correct? And the club also provides snacks and some food items, correct, in that meeting. So for obviously they charge something, so on that charges GST will be leviable because it amounts to supply of goods. Everybody clear till here? Alright. Now we are moving on. Beta, this was all in your chapter 2, that is supply. Now chapter 3, charges to GST. Under this, you must have studied composition scheme, section 10, correct? In that, beta, you had studied manufacturer of notified goods are not allowed to opt for composition scheme, even composition scheme for services. Both. You have two schemes na, section 10 composition scheme and section 10 2A composition scheme for services. So for both, if you are manufacturer of notified goods, what are these notified goods? You already know, people. Ice cream, other edible ice, pan masala, tobacco and aerated water. This you already know, okay? But now, beta, this list has been extended to include even these products called fly ash bricks or fly ash aggregate with 90% or more fly ash content, fly ash blocks. Ma'am, what is all this? Okay, beta. See, this is called fly ash bricks. Okay, fossil bricks, building bricks, earthen and roofing tiles. So, beta, bricks of fossil mills or similar siliceous earths, building bricks and earthen and roofing tiles. Now, you must have seen, beta, especially this is in northern areas where people don't have the proper roofing. They generally have this kind of roofing, correct? As you are aware, nowadays, everywhere, beta, all the builders are rebuilding or remaking all the buildings. Why? Because in many areas, many states government have actually reduced the life shell of the building. Okay, earlier it was beta 50 years or so, now it has reduced to 30 years or more. So, everyone is in building industry now started remaking the building. Hence, all these products are required, correct? Government now recently changed the percentage and just slightly increased the percentage of these products. Now, if you are a composition dealer, beta, you pay only 1%, correct? 1% of total aggregate turnover if you are a manufacturer. Now, government, beta, don't want only 1% on these products. That is why government increased the rates. So, do you think government will give 1% benefit? No, na. That is why government have said that if you are a composition dealer, if you are a manufacturer of these products, na, sorry, composition scheme is not for you. If you are a composition dealer, you can't do manufacturing of these products. Are you with me? Okay. So, nothing great, beta, only these products. Ma'am, how we will remember? Beta, in exam na, fly ash bricks, building bricks, something will come na, you'll remember. Okay, don't worry. Alright, now, beta, our chapter 3 also done. Okay, two places it is covered where you already know section 10 and section 10 2A, that is composition scheme and composition scheme for services. If you are manufacturer of these products, you are not eligible for composition scheme, even composition scheme for services. Alright. Now, moving on to chapter 4, that is exemption from GST. In this, most of the amendments you must have already covered in your May 22 attempt. They have given it again. Okay, but let's study once again. First, beta, your entry number 3. Ma'am, do we have to remember? No. Don't worry. You don't have to remember. Pure service excluding works contract service or the other composite supplies involving supply of any goods provided to central government, state government or union territory or local authority. Earlier, it was even governmental authority or governmental entity was included in this list, but now they have excluded. Okay, that means if I am providing pure service means only service content, yeah, only service portion. So if I have provided only services to whom? To CG, SG, UT or local authority, then whatever amount I have charged, entire amount is exempt. But if I have provided pure service to governmental authority or governmental entity, then it will be taxable, beta. Are you with me? It will be taxable. But ma'am, with services, beta, any services or any activity in relation to any functions entrusted to Panchayat under Article 243G of the Constitution or in relation to functions entrusted to municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution. What are these? Example. Let's say Mr. A is providing, beta, service of maintenance of street light. Okay. To whom? To beta CG, SG, UT, ACE, central government, state government, union territory, government or local authority. Okay. And this is one of the specified activity which are functions of panchayat or municipality. Okay. So in that very case, obviously Mr. A must have charged na people. So entire amount will be exempt. Entire amount will be exempt. Are you with me? But if Mr. A provided this service to governmental authority or governmental entity, then it will be taxable. So beta, this was example of your entry number 3. Your entry number 3. Okay. Now entry number 3A. That is composite supply of goods or service in which the value of supply of goods constitutes not more than 25% of the value of the said composite supply provided to CG, SG, UT or local authority, or now earlier it was including governmental authority and governmental entity, now it is excluded. So if we provide even composite supply to governmental authority or governmental entity, then entire amount will be taxable. Okay, by way of any activity in relation to any functions entrusted to Panchayat under Article 243G of the Constitution or in relation to any functions entrusted to municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution. Example. It is same Mr. A. Now, providing composite supply. What do you mean by composite supply? Section 8, you remember? Section 8 talks about composite and mixed supply. Whenever there are two or more supplies supplied together in conjunction of each other, which are naturally bundled and one of which is principal supply. Remember? So, let's say over here now, if someone maintains street light, obviously beta, the person, if the bulb, let's say if the bulb, But let's say if person is providing service of maintenance of street light, but what if there is some problem with the bulb, it is not working, you have to replace it. That means you have supplied goods. So if you supply goods, it won't be pure service, correct? And whatever amount you charge, beta, it will be inclusive of that bulb. So that means you are also supplying bulb along with street light maintenance service. So this is called composite supply, goods plus service. So they say even this will be exempt provided your bulb portion should not exceed 25% of total value. Okay. Composite supply. But if goods portion should not exceed 25% of total value, then your entire amount will be exempt. Like beta, let's say total value charged is 1 lakh. Okay, and beta value of bulb would be, let's say, 20,000. Tell me whether it exceeds 25% of 1 lakh? No. Hence, entire 1 lakh will be exempt over here. Are you with me? Okay, you tell me please, if the value of bulb would be 30,000, then your entire amount will be exempt or only 70,000 will be exempt? The entire amount will be taxable, nothing will be exempt because government says, beta, if you follow their rule, your entire amount will be exempt. If you don't follow their rule, entire amount will be taxable. So if the goods portion is only up to 25% na beta, then your entire 1 lakh will be exempt. If goods portion exceeds 25%, then your entire amount will be taxable. Provided beta you have only billed one amount, that is for entire composite supply, 1 lakh. Okay. If you make two separate bills, then there is no problem. Pure service will be exempt under 3. And this portion, if it exceeds 25%, so it will be taxable. Are you with me? Okay. Now, transportation of passenger with or without accompanying belonging. Now, in this very case, na beta, what is amendment? You must have studied non-air conditioned contract carriage and non-air conditioned stage carriage was exempt. Hey, what do you mean by this? Contract carriage? Your bus. Beta, if you travel, let's say, from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, every day beta bus travels, correct? That is contract carriage without stoppage. Beta, without stoppage, it transfers. Without stoppage, beta, it transports from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. So this is called contract carriage. Now, if it is non-AC, the entire journey will be exempt. Now, what is amendment? Nothing contained in item B and C above. shall apply to service supplied through an e-commerce operator. We call it ECO and notified under section 9(5) of CGST. You know, red bus, beta, if you book this contract carriage through any e-commerce operator platform, then that will be taxable even if it is non-AC. Are you with me? See, AC was always taxable. Okay, even if through eco, not eco. But non-AC was exempt. But now, if you book non-AC through eco, it will be taxable. Are you with me? Yes. Now, what is stage carriage? It is also bus, but it stops on every single stage. Correct? If you are from Maharashtra, you must be knowing your BEST, best bus. Okay, if you are from any other state, beta, you already know in your state transport undertaking would be their buses. So that stops on every single stage. That is called beta stage carriage. If it was AC na, it was already taxable. If it is non-AC, it was exempt earlier. Now also it is exempt. But if you book that stage carriage through e-commerce operator platform, then it will be taxable. Are you with me, everyone? Okay. Now, like your red bus, correct? Now, beta, one more amendment in service of transportation of passenger with or without accompanying belonging by metered cab or auto rickshaw. Rest everything you already know. You have already studied, so we are not covering otherwise. We are covering amendments over here. Metered cabs or auto rickshaw including e-rickshaw. See, generally metered cab, auto rickshaw including e-rickshaw is exempt, correct? But you know Ola rickshaw, there was always confusion. Ola Uber. You also book Ola Auto, correct? Uber Auto. Now what about that? So now they have clarified it will be taxable if you book auto, that is rickshaw, through Ola app, that is e-commerce platform, then beta it will be taxable. Are you with me? Otherwise if you book, it will be exempt, but Ola Auto, taxable. Okay. However, nothing contained in item E above shall apply to services supplied through an ECO and notified under section 9(5). Correct? Ola, Uber are notified under 9(5). Hence, it will be taxable. Okay. Alright. Next. Services provided to central government, state government, union territory administration under any training program, for which 75% or more of the total expenditure is borne by CGSGUT. Now listen. Earlier, it was 100% expenditure borne by CGSG, then only it will be exempt. Now they say even 75% or more borne by CGSG, na, still it will be exempt. Are you with me? What is exempt, beta? The remuneration, okay, that is for training programs remuneration. Let's say I have conducted GST seminar for some employees of the government, and government obviously paid me the remuneration. But if government borne, that is CG, SG or Union Territory Administration, have borne 75% or more, the entire amount will be exempt. Are you with me? But if they say, beta, 70% only borne by them, then entire amount will be taxable. Okay. Alright. New exemption introduced. Services by way of granting of national permit to a goods carriage to operate throughout India or contiguous state. It will be exempt. Beta, what is exempt? National permit granted to goods transport agency will be exempt. Okay. Now all these services, beta, we have already covered. Okay. But still it is given in your ICAI statutory update. So I am covering again. Withdrawal of existing exemption. Withdrawal means now it is taxable. Service of leasing of assets, rolling stock assets including wagons, coaches, locos by the Indian Railway Financial Corporation to Indian Railways. Beta, IRFC, okay, gives on lease the entire wagons, coaches of railway to Indian Railways. Now, earlier it was exempt. The lease amount was exempt. Now it became taxable. Are you with me? Okay. And we completed chapter 4. Now, your chapter number 6, input tax credit. Beta, this time there is big amendment and this was very expected amendment. Okay. You remember in your input tax credit chapter, section 16, subsection 2, conditions for availing ITC. There were earlier 4 conditions and after that, beta, there was one provision that you can avail ITC 5% extra, which is not mentioned in your GSTR 2A. Now became 2B. But now it has amended and government said nothing will be allowed beyond 2B. Let's see what this amendment says. Beta, your section 16 subsection 2 was regarding conditions for availing ITC. Under that, you had 4 conditions. Okay, first, person must have valid tax paying document, which includes tax invoice, debit note, revised tax invoice, self-tax invoice. You already know this, correct beta? And your bill of entry and ISD invoice. These 2 documents you will study in CA final. But all these documents you have already studied. This you should have. Your second condition was goods or service must be received. Third, supplier must have paid the taxes. And fourth, recipient must have furnished the return under section 39. Now beta, after your first condition, they have added this one. Section 16, subsection 2, clause AA. Now, if you have not studied this as section wise or subsection or clause wise, it's okay beta. All you need to remember is you have studied earlier 4 conditions, now 1 more condition added. Okay. So, which is this condition? The details of invoice or debit note furnished by supplier in GSTR 1 and communicated to recipient in GSTR 2. Then only beta recipient can avail ITC. Okay, so beta we'll study through one example. Okay beta, so let us understand this from this example. Let's say your eligible ITC as per purchase register is 1 lakh. What do you mean by eligible ITC? Your books of accounts. So, example, you have purchased from X, Y, Z and W. Okay. Now, you have purchased from all of this and total ITC which is eligible, that is 1 lakh. That means you have fulfilled all the conditions for availing ITC, beta, and it is showing 1 lakh. Now, eligible ITC available in GSTR 2B is only 70,000. Why so? Because your X, Y, Z have filed their GSTR 1. That is why it is showing in your 2B. But W have not filed their GSTR 1. And ITC amount of this W is 30,000. So it is not showing in my 2B. Now, can I take this ITC of 30,000? So earlier, government used to give us this benefit of 5% extra of eligible ITC in this very case. So ITC can be claimed as provisional credit, which is 5% of 70,000 eligible ITC, which is available in 2B. So beta, I can also claim 3,500 extra. Okay. And total ITC in 3B. In 3B beta, I could have claimed 73,500. But after amendment, government said you will not get anything. Not even 5%, nothing. Whatever is shown in your 2B, you can only get that much amount as your ITC. Are you with me? That's it. This amendment is only for that. So your entire 5% things calculation beta will go away. Alright, only whatever amount which is shown in your 2B. Earlier it was 2A, now it became 2B. So whatever amount is shown in 2B, that much amount only be eligible. Okay, alright, let's read. ITC can be availed only by recipient only if the supplier have uploaded the relevant invoice or debit note in GSTR 1 or IFF, invoice furnishing facility, and communicated the same to the recipient in 2B. Section 16(2) amended and Rule 36 sub-rule 4. With effect from 1st Jan 22, new clause AA has been added to section 16(2) by the Finance Act to stipulate following new conditions for availment of ITC. That input tax credit in respect of any supply of goods or service or both is available to registered person only if beta the details of invoice or debit note in respect of said supply has been furnished by the supplier in statement of outward supplies, that is GSTR 1, and such details have been communicated to recipient of such invoice or debit note in the manner specified in section 37, that is 2B, GSTR 2B. Okay. Consequently, Rule 36 sub-rule 4 have been substituted to give effect to aforesaid amendment. Substituted Rule 36 sub Rule 4 reads as follows. No ITC shall be availed by registered person in respect of invoice or debit note, the details of which are required to be furnished under 37(1) unless. Rule 36 says list of documents, correct? List of documents you must have to avail ITC. But in that list of documents, you have invoice, tax invoice, also debit note. So they talk about that details of such invoice or debit note have been furnished by supplier in GSTR1 or using IFF, and the details of such invoice or debit note have been communicated to registered person in 2B, then only that invoice or debit note will contain or will be called as valid tax paying document. Are you with me? Okay. And here we completed amendment of ITC. Moving on to chapter 7, that is registration. Beta, under registration, you have this Aadhaar authentication. You remember your section 25, that is procedure for registration. Under section 25, you have 25 subsection 6, that is PAN is necessary for availing registration, and in that you have 25 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D for Aadhaar authentication. Now beta, 6A was for already existing registered person. Okay, what about them? They will have to do Aadhaar authentication or not? So beta, they say if you are proprietor firm, proprietor. If you are partnership firm, then any partner. If you are HUF, then your Karta. If you are company, then MD, WTD, Managing Director, Whole-Time Director. Or if you are beta AOP or BOI or society, then any members of managing committee. And if you are a trust, your board of trustee or any trustee have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. What is Aadhaar authentication? While you fill your form, registration form, you have to fill your Aadhaar number. Then you will get OTP on your registered linked mobile number. You have to put their OTP and it is done. Only this much process. That's it. Okay. But who has to undergo? These people has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Are you with me? Why this has been done? Because through Aadhaar, you can catch that person. There won't be any shell company through Aadhaar. Correct? Because Aadhaar includes your biometric. Are you with me? Okay, so that is why government is nowadays focusing more on Aadhaar. Now, you know what? Some people said, but I have already applied for Aadhaar. The Aadhaar people not giving me the Aadhaar card. What do? I want to undergo Aadhaar authentication. So, government said, okay, no problem. Please give me your Aadhaar enrollment ID slip. Okay. And along with it, your bank passbook with photograph, or voter ID card, or passport or driving license. Why it is so? See, government just wanted to know genuineness of you, that whether you are not a shell company, you exist, you are still doing business, you are not supplying bogus bills. This is what government wants to ensure. Hence, government says, if you are already registered, please undergo Aadhaar authentication. But if you are not able to, or if you have applied for Aadhaar, no problem. You give me your Aadhaar enrollment ID slip. Along with it, any of these 4 documents, any document you give me as a proof. But listen, once you get your Aadhaar number, such person shall undergo authentication. Aadhaar number within 30 days of the allotment of Aadhaar number. Once you get your Aadhaar number, you have to within 30 days, please undergo Aadhaar authentication. So that we can confirm, okay, you are genuine. Alright people, and this was all about your Aadhaar authentication. Now, another amendment under registration chapter. Beta, you remember this enhanced threshold limit of 40 lakh? Correct? Now, this 40 lakh was not available for ice cream, pan, masala, tobacco, you remember? So, along with them, they said, again beta, this fly ash bricks, fly ash aggregate with 90% or more fly ash content, fly ash blocks, bricks of fossil mills, building bricks and other roofing tiles. These people are not eligible for 40 lakh limit. Okay, but can they get 10-20? Yes, beta, 10 and 20 they can get. 10 for, you remember, Tripura, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and others, 20 lakh limit, threshold limit. Okay, so they can still get 10 lakh or 20 lakh threshold limit for registration, but they cannot avail 40 lakh threshold limit. Are you with me? So beta, if I am dealer of fly ash bricks or manufacturer of building bricks, I cannot get 40 lakh limit. Huh? If I cross my 20 lakh, I have to register. Okay, alright. Now, beta, section 30, revocation of cancellation of registration. You remember, in this very case, earlier you had 30 days. Within 30 days, beta, you can apply for revocation of cancellation. But that 30 days were further. But that 30 days was further extended by ACJC, Additional Commissioner or Joint Commissioner, and again further by Commissioner, not exceeding 30 days. Now they have again amended and they said, first 30 days, beta, you will get. Okay, and then they said, or within such time period as extended by Additional Commissioner or Joint Commissioner or Commissioner as the case may be, in exercise of power provided under proviso to section 30 subsection 1 at common portal, either directly or through facilitation center notified by Commissioner. In short, beta, now they have power to extend whatever they feel like. Why? As I have told you, beta, to provide a benefit to genuine people whose registration was cancelled due to non-filing of returns, but they were genuine and they had some issue. If they want to come back, still file their return and still want to continue the business, we will provide them opportunity. And then government further amended and said, beta, within such time period as prescribed or extended by ACJC or Commissioner. Okay, alright. And we completed our chapter 7, that is registration. Now chapter 8, tax invoice, credit and debit notes, E-way bill. In this chapter, you must have studied e-invoicing was mandatory for B2B supplies having beta aggregate turnover in any preceding financial year starting from 17-18 onwards was greater than 50 crore. Okay. Now it has amended to 20 crore. Okay. Remember beta, I have also told you that this e-invoicing now government wants to cater each and every industry. When they have started with 500 crore industry. Then they came down to 200, 150 and now they said even 20 crore industry, you have to also issue e-invoicing. Correct beta? So now all you need to remember beta, the limit now reduced to 20 crore instead of 50 crore. Beta, this question may be expected in your exam because it is latest amendment and generally in November exam they focus on amendments. Okay beta, e-invoicing limit for B2B supplies 20 crore. B2B 20 crore. Okay. Next. E-invoicing not applicable to government department and local authority. This beta you must have already studied. This was amendment of May 22 attempt. Okay. Beta, this you must have studied in your May 22 attempt. So beta, so many categories where e-invoicing is not applicable, that is SEZ, insurer, banking company or financial institution, GTA, that is goods transport agency, supplying service in relation to transportation of goods by road in a goods carriage, supplier of passenger transportation service because they issue ticket, person supplying service by way of admission to exhibition of cinematographic films in multiplex screens. All this you already know, and they have also added government department and local authority. They don't have to issue e-invoice. Are you with me? Okay. Clarification in respect of applicability of dynamic QR code, quick response code. Beta, this you already know. Dynamic QR code is applicable to all B2C invoices. Hey, what is the difference between B2B and B2C? B2B means registered person to registered person and B2C registered to unregistered. Okay. So, QR code applicable to B2C invoices. Okay. Issued by registered person whose aggregate turnover in any of the preceding financial year starting from 17-18 onwards exceeds 500 crore are mandatorily required to have dynamic QR code from December 1st, 2020. Now beta, this was already there. What is new? Okay, so they have said that dynamic QR code is required to be provided on an invoice issued to a person who has obtained UIN, Unique Identification Number, under section 25 subsection 9. Beta, who are UIN holders? Embassies, foreign embassies. Now, you know na, they are called unregistered person. They are not registered beta. That is why they get UIN. Okay, so that is what they have said. Any person who has obtained unique identity number is not a registered person as per the definition of a registered person. Therefore, any invoice, you tell me if you are not a registered person, that means, don't you think it is B2C transaction? So, if I issue invoice beta to UIN holder, that is embassy, I supply goods or service to embassy, then do I have to generate QR code? Yes, if I am 500 crore industry beta, then I have to generate QR code because then it amounts to B2C transaction. Are you with me? As per the definition of registered person, therefore, any invoice issued to such person having UIN shall be considered as invoice issued for B2C supply. and shall be required to comply with requirements of dynamic QR code. In cases where an invoice is issued to a recipient located outside India for supply of services, for which place of supply is in India. What is this? See, place of supply chapter beta we don't have in our syllabus. We will study in CA final. But what they are saying, I will give you one example. If I am interior decorator, okay, and I have provided interior decoration service to, let's say, Mr. Samsung of Japan, okay. Now beta, he has his property in, let's say, Japan, in Korea, in America, and also in Delhi, India. And beta, who am I? Supplier of interior decoration service, and I am from India. Who is Samsung beta? He is recipient of service and he is from outside India. Okay. Now you tell me, he will pay in Indian currency or foreign currency? Obviously foreign currency. Okay. So the problem over here is, as per place of supply chapter beta, which we will study in CA final, your place of supply falls in this category is Delhi. Because if you have more than one property, okay, if you are providing service for more than one property, okay, and any property falls in taxable territory, that is India, your place of supply will be India, okay. So because of that reason, your place of supply is India. Now location of supplier is India, place of supply also is in India. So beta, this cannot be export service. But ideally, if you can see, I am from India, Samsung is from Japan. So I am actually providing or actually exporting my service. But as per place of supply chapter, it is not export of service. Now I am getting remuneration in foreign currency. You tell me, even if I put dynamic QR code in my invoice, can he from Japan can scan and pay? No, not possible. So do I need to comply with dynamic QR code? No. That is what they are saying. You understood? Let's read. As per the provision of IGST Act, the payment is received by supplier in convertible foreign exchange or in Indian rupees wherever permitted by RBI. Such supply of service is not considered as export of service as per IGST Act. Such invoice may be issued without having dynamic QR code, as such dynamic QR code cannot be used by recipient located outside India for making payment to supplier. Understood? Okay. Now, E-way bill. Okay. Beta, you remember E-way bill have to be generated by certain categories of people. Mostly all the one who does movement beta and value exceeds 50,000, correct? Now over here na, if you don't file your returns beta, if you don't file your returns, your E-way bill would be blocked. Okay, there are certain criteria that if you don't follow, then your E-way bill will be blocked. If your E-way bill will be blocked, can you do transport? No, na? That is what government wants. Correct. Now listen. Let's say I am the person whose e-way bill generation is blocked. So what happened, earlier what used to happen? You are the person who is generating e-way bill on my name. Okay, that means you are supplying to me, I am recipient, I am purchasing from you. You are generating e-way bill. But whenever you put my name, e-way bill was not generated. Why? Because I am defaulter. Okay, so if I am defaulter, na beta, you will not be able to generate e-way bill on my name. But beta, it was wrong, na? You tell me, if you are not able to generate e-way bill, then it would be non-compliance on your part. That should not be there. Hence, they said, if I am defaulter, I cannot generate e-way bill. But you can generate e-way bill on my name. Come on. So, e-way bill generation facility to be blocked only in respect of outward movement of goods by the defaulting registered person. Rule 138E contains provision pertaining to blocking of e-way bill generation facility, that is disabling generation of e-way bill. Earlier, a user was not able to generate e-way bill for GSTIN if the said GSTIN was not eligible for e-way bill generation in terms of Rule 138E. It implies that the GSTIN of such blocked taxpayer could not be used to generate e-way bills neither as supplier, consignor, nor as recipient, consignee. Said rule has been amended to relax such restriction. That this we will study from this example. Mr. A registered person paying tax under regular scheme in Delhi, has not filed GSTR1 for last 2 months. Mr. B, Haryana, a regular return filer. Haryana is regular return filer, correct? Mr. B, but Mr. A is defaulter. So, Mr. B wants to generate an e-way bill for goods to be supplied to Mr. A. As per earlier position of law, Mr. B would not have been able to generate e-way bill with Mr. A's GSTIN. But in terms of amended position, there will be no more restriction in generating e-way bill as Mr. B, who is making outward movement of goods, is a regular return filer. So, you can't stop Mr. B now just because Mr. A is defaulter. Now, Mr. B can generate e-way bill even on the name of Mr. A. Okay, alright. Now, beta, last amended. Now, beta, last amendment, that is your chapter 9, payment of tax. Actually, there is no amendment kind of beta. This you already have studied. Rule 86A. Nothing great. Only one word added. That is reasonable belief. You understand? You are actually blocking their electronic credit ledger. Who you are? Proper officer. A proper officer. O proper officer, that is GST officer. You are blocking electronic credit ledger of mine. But you should have reasonable belief. That is proof. What proof do you have? Why you are blocking my e-credit ledger? So, government said you should have reasonable belief. What reasonable belief? That the reasons for such belief must be based on one or more of the following grounds. The credit is availed by registered person on the invoices or debit notes issued by supplier who is found to be non-existent or is found to be conducting any business from the place declared in registration. What is this? You have already studied people. Only one word added, reasonable belief. Okay. See, they say that You have availed credit. That means you have availed ITC, but your supplier is non-existent. What do you mean by non-existent? Shell company. So if you have purchased from some shell company and you have availed ITC, very good. Beta, your e-credit ledger will be blocked. Okay, alright. Or if you are found that you are not doing business from your declared place of business. Example, I have declared place of business as Mumbai, but I am doing business from Pune. So if I get caught, my e-credit ledger will be blocked. Okay. The credit is availed by registered person on the invoice or debit notes without actually receiving any goods or service. One of the criteria for availing ITC, correct? One of the conditions, beta, if you are receiving invoice but without receipt of goods, that is bogus bills, and you are availing ITC on bogus bills, your e-credit ledger will be blocked. The credit is availed by registered person on invoice or debit notes, the tax in respect of which has not been paid to the government. Oh my God, the supplier have not paid tax to the government and you want ITC? How come? Your ITC will be blocked. That is, your e-credit ledger will be blocked, because this is also one of the condition for availing ITC under section 16 subsection 2. You remember? Okay. The registered person claiming the credit is found to be non-existent. Oh my God, beta, there is heights to steal. You are shell company and you are asking government, please give me ITC. Heights. If government found that you are only shell company, your e-credit ledger will be blocked, or is found not to be conducting any business from a declared place of business. Correct? And the credit is availed by registered person without having any invoice or debit note or any other valid document. Also one of the condition for availing ITC, beta, you don't have any tax paying document and you are availing ITC, then your e-credit ledger will be blocked. Are you with me? All right. Here we completed our beta amendments. Now your chapter 10 returns na beta, this you have already covered. This is your late fee which you have already covered in your May 22 attempt. Okay, beta, you remember if you file nil return, your late fee can maximum be 500. But if your turnover is up to 1.5 crore, late fee can be 2000. Turnover up to 5 crore, that is greater than 1.5, but up to 5, then your late fee can be 5,000. And if other than 1 and 2, then late fee as per section 47, that is 100 per day, during which failure continues, or 5,000, whichever is lower under CGST Act, but under IGST Act it will be double. Okay. Now, beta, what they have amended over here is just this line, from June 21 or quarter ending June 21 on. Only this line they have added, nothing else. This you have already studied, people. Okay. And if you are, beta, if you are talking about for delay in filing GSTR 4, so beta, for delay in filing GSTR 4, what is happening? For delay in filing GSTR 4, from financial year 21-22 onwards, this will be applicable. What? If you are filing nil return, 500, 250 each under CGST, SGST and 500 under IGST. And other than nil means if you are composition dealer, your turnover is up to 1.5 crore, then 2000. Okay. So this you have already studied. the amendment part is only, this is applicable from financial year 21-22 and this is applicable from June 21 or quarter ending June 20. Okay beta, this also you have studied that the reconciliation statement beta, now it is self-certified. CA should not or CA do not have to certify. Are you with me? It is self-certified. That's it, nothing else, and here we completed our amendments. Thank you so much. All the very best for your attempt beta. Do well, be calm, you will easily get it. All the very best.